Welcome to the Whispering Pine Forest. Deep within the heart of the Whispering Pine Forest, where the flowers glow like tiny lanterns and the moss is as soft as a velvet pillow, lives a very special friend. He is taller than the sunflowers, softer than a summer cloud, and has ears that can hear the secrets of the wind. His name is Big Bunny. With his cozy knitted satchel and his gentle hopping paws, Big Bunny is the guardian of the woods. Whether it's helping a lost bird find its way home or discovering why the river has stopped its song, every day is a new discovery. Are you ready to tiptoe through the silver grass and join him? Pack your imagination, little explorer. Our first adventure is about to begin. Story 1: Big Bunny and the Lost Bluebird. The first light of the morning had just painted the treetops in gold, and the Whispering Pine Forest was waking up. The silver grass was wet with tiny dewdrop jewels, and the glowing flowers were opening like sleepy smiles. Big Bunny stepped out of his cozy moss burrow. He took a long, slow breath, inhale, exhale, smelling the sweet scent of pine and wild berries. He adjusted his woven satchel and began his morning walk. His giant, fluffy paws made almost no sound. Hop, pause, hop, pause. He was very tall, even taller than the bushes, but he moved with great kindness, careful not to wake the sleeping bumblebees. Suddenly, his long, fluffy ears twitched. One went left, and one went right. He heard a sound. It was not the happy song of the forest. It was a sad sound. Peep, peep. Big Bunny hopped slowly toward the sound. Under a massive, old oak tree, he found a tiny bluebird. Its feathers were dusty, and its large, black eyes were filled with tears. "Hello, little friend," Big Bunny said, his voice deep and smooth like warm honey. He crouched down, making himself small, and extended one colossal, soft paw. "Why is your song so sad today?" The bluebird looked up at the gentle giant. "Oh, Big Bunny," it cried. "The wind last night was so strong. It shook my family's nest, and I fell out. I am too small to fly back up, and my home is so high on that branch." Big Bunny's heart felt heavy. He knew how scary it felt to be far from your warm bed. He looked at the oak branch and then at the tiny bird. "Don't worry, little one," Big Bunny whispered. "Trust my steady paws." The bluebird hesitated, then took a little breath and stepped into Big Bunny's paw. It felt incredibly safe, like being wrapped in a cloud. Big Bunny rose to his full, colossal height. He was very patient. Lift the paw, pause, reach higher, pause. Finally, they reached the sturdy branch. Big Bunny tilted his paw very gently, and the bluebird hopped perfectly back into its soft nest. Its family chirped with joy. "Thank you, Big Bunny," the bluebird sang, its voice clear and strong now. "You are the kindest friend in the whole forest." Big Bunny smiled, his golden brown eyes shining. He realized that the greatest strength wasn't how fast you could run, but how much you could help. "You are welcome, little singer," Big Bunny replied. As Big Bunny continued his gentle hop deeper into the forest, he felt lighter than a summer cloud. He was ready for his next adventure. Story 2: Big Bunny and the Thirsty Flowers. The next day, after a deep and restful sleep, Big Bunny stepped out of his burrow into the fresh morning air. The Whispering Pine Forest was alive with the gentle rustle of leaves and the distant, melodic songs of early birds. The ground was covered in a soft carpet of green moss and the strange silver grass that seemed to catch the light. Big Bunny felt wonderful and light. He checked his hand-knitted satchel and began his morning stroll, eager to explore further than the day before. He decided to follow a different path, one that led him toward the northern edge of the woods, where the large, ancient pine trees stood tall, their needles covered in the soft, glowing cyan and pink flowers. These trees were so old that their bark felt like wrinkled stone, and Big Bunny loved the smell of pine that surrounded them. As he hopped along, his giant paws making soft thump-thump sounds, he noticed a change in the air. It felt dry, and the usual sweet smell of the forest was replaced by a slight dusty scent. His long, fluffy ears twitched. It wasn't a sound he heard, but a feeling of sadness that seemed to hang in the air. He followed this feeling toward a beautiful meadow where a stream used to sparkle in the sunlight. But today, the meadow looked different. The usually vibrant wildflowers, with their petals of deep purple, sky blue, and bright yellow, were drooping. Their heads were bowed low, and their stems looked weak. They looked very tired and very thirsty. Big Bunny's heart felt heavy. These flowers were the smiles of the meadow, and their sadness made him feel sad too. He crouched down, careful not to crush any of the weakened plants. "Hello, beautiful friends," he said, his voice deep and smooth like warm honey. "What is making you so sad on this lovely day?" The flowers didn't have voices, but their drooping heads spoke of their trouble. The stream that always brought them cool water was empty. In its place was only a dry, cracked riverbed of gray stones. Big Bunny stood to his full colossal height and looked upstream. He saw that further up, where the stream used to twist and turn through the woods, a large, heavy boulder had fallen. It was so big that it completely blocked the flow of the water. This boulder must have rolled down from the great mountain during the strong wind from the night before, the same wind that had frightened the tiny Bluebird. Big Bunny knew he had to do something. He was very big, and he was very strong, but he had to be very careful. He didn't want to break the boulder and send pieces rolling down and crashing into the trees or other animals. He approached the boulder slowly. It was a massive gray stone, covered in patches of dried-up green moss. Big Bunny extended one of his giant paws and gently touched it. He closed his golden brown eyes and listened to the boulder, trying to feel where it wanted to go. This boulder didn't want to block the water, it was just sitting where it had fallen. Big Bunny adjusted his feet, making sure he had a firm grip on the ground. Then, he placed both of his colossal, soft paws on the boulder. He leaned forward and pushed. It was very hard work. Big Bunny's muscles felt tight, and he had to push with all his gentleness and all his strength. Push, pause, breathe. Push, pause, breathe. The boulder didn't move at first. But Big Bunny was patient. He knew that the light of truth and the magic of patience were the strongest lights of all. Finally, with one last, gentle push, the boulder began to roll. It moved slowly and noisily, rumble, rumble, as it rolled to the side, settling into a deep ditch away from the stream bed. The moment the boulder moved, the water rushed back in. Splash! It was a wonderful sound, the sound of the stream's song returning. The cool, clear water flowed back into its riverbed, sparkling in the sunlight as if celebrating its freedom. The water washed over the gray stones, making them look dark and shiny. As the water reached the meadow, the drooping flowers began to react. It was a magical sight. Their stems straightened, and their heads rose toward the sky. The petals opened, and their vibrant colors returned. The purple, blue, and yellow flowers were smiling again. Big Bunny watched the transformation with a large, warm smile, his golden brown eyes shining with joy. He realized that the greatest superpower wasn't invisible talons or turbo shells, it was being able to bring happiness back to your friends. As Big Bunny continued his gentle hop deeper into the now sparkling forest, his spirit felt lighter than a summer cloud. He knew that the light of truth and the magic of being known were the brightest lights of all, and he was ready for whatever adventure the next day would bring. Story 3: Big Bunny and the Echo of the Brave. The next morning, the sun climbed slowly behind the great mountain, casting long, playful shadows across the whispering pine forest. Big Bunny stepped out of his burrow and felt a cool, crisp breeze tickling his long ears. Today, the forest felt different. The air didn't smell like sweet berries, it smelled like damp stone and ancient secrets. Following his intuition, Big Bunny decided to head toward the shimmering cliffs, where the trees grew thin and the rocks reached for the sky. As he hopped along, his soft, heavy paws making a rhythmic thump-thump on the moss, he noticed the forest becoming quieter. The usual chatter of the birds had faded into a hushed whisper. He reached a hidden canyon where a small, gray squirrel was perched on a jagged rock. Usually, this squirrel was the fastest and loudest climber in the woods, but today, he was as still as a statue. His tiny paws were tucked tight against his chest, and his bushy tail was wrapped around him like a frozen blanket. Big Bunny stopped and lowered his head to be near the little traveler. "Good morning, little friend," Big Bunny whispered, his voice as soft as the wind through the pines. "The sun is high, and the pine cones are waiting. Why is your heart so quiet today?" The squirrel looked up with wide, watery eyes. He pointed toward a narrow stone bridge that led to the other side of the canyon, the only way to reach the great hazelnut grove. A thick, swirling mist had settled over the bridge, making it look like it disappeared into nowhere. "I'm afraid, Big Bunny," the squirrel squeaked, his voice trembling. "The mist is so thick, and the canyon is so deep. What if the bridge isn't there anymore? What if I lose my way in the white clouds?" Big Bunny looked at the mist. It did look mysterious and cold, but he knew that things aren't always as scary as they seem when you face them with a friend. He knelt down on his fluffy knees and extended his massive, warm paw. "The mist is just the mountain taking a deep breath," Big Bunny said kindly. "It hides the path, but it doesn't take it away. Real bravery isn't about not being scared, little one. It's about taking a step even when you can't see the end of the road. Would you like to walk through the clouds with me?" The squirrel hesitated, looking from the foggy bridge to Big Bunny's steady, golden brown eyes. Slowly, he reached out and climbed into the center of Big Bunny's palm. He felt the warmth of the soft fur and the strength of the giant paws. Big Bunny rose to his full, colossal height. He didn't run, he didn't rush. He walked with slow, deliberate steps toward the mist. As they entered the white cloud, the world disappeared. It was quiet and muffled, like being wrapped in a giant ball of cotton. The squirrel squeezed his eyes shut, clutching Big Bunny's fur. "Listen to my heartbeat," Big Bunny said softly. "It's a steady drum. Just follow the rhythm. Thump, thump, thump." With every step, Big Bunny's paws found the solid stone of the bridge. He moved with such patience that the squirrel began to feel the steadiness too. Slowly, the squirrel opened one eye, then the other. He saw the white mist swirling around them like dancing spirits, and realized it wasn't trying to hurt them, it was just passing through. Finally, they stepped out of the fog and into the bright, golden light of the hazelnut grove. The trees here were loaded with treats, and the air was warm again. Big Bunny gently lowered his paw to a mossy branch, and the squirrel hopped down, his tail now upright and fluffy with excitement. "I did it," the squirrel cheered, performing a tiny acrobatic flip. The mist was just a cloud, and the bridge was always there. Big Bunny smiled, his long ears dipping in a nod of approval. "You were the one who took the step, little friend. I just provided the shadow to walk in." As the squirrel scampered off to gather his treasures, Big Bunny turned back toward the mist, which was now beginning to lift. He knew that today, the forest had taught them both that even the thickest fog can't hide the path if you have a steady heart and a hand to hold. With a contented sigh, Big Bunny began his peaceful hop back home, ready for the stars to come out and tell their own stories. Story 4, Big Bunny and the Moonlight Map. The sun began to dip behind the jagged peaks of the great mountain, painting the sky in deep shades of violet and indigo. As the first stars started to blink like tiny diamonds, Big Bunny stepped out from under the canopy of the ancient pines. Tonight, the air was still and held a magical, silver quality. It was a night for a moonlit walk, a time when the whispering pine forest showed a different kind of beauty. Big Bunny adjusted his woven satchel, feeling the weight of the smooth pebbles he had collected during the day. His giant, fluffy paws moved with extra care as he followed a path toward the crystal pond. This was a place where the water was so clear it looked like a mirror for the sky. As he hopped, his ears twitched at the rhythmic sound of the crickets, who were just beginning their nightly symphony. As he neared the edge of the pond, he saw a small, slow-moving shape near a cluster of glowing moonflowers. It was a tiny turtle, its shell patterned with swirls that looked like ancient maps. The turtle was moving in small circles, its head bobbing back and forth with a confused expression. Every few steps, it would stop, sigh a tiny sigh, and look up at the moon. Big Bunny lowered his colossal head, his golden brown eyes reflecting the soft moonlight. "Good evening, little traveler," Big Bunny said, his voice as calm and steady as the deep forest. "The stars are bright, and the moon is full. Why does your journey seem to have no destination tonight?" The turtle looked up, blinking its large, patient eyes. "Oh, Big Bunny," the turtle whispered. "I am trying to find my way back to the pebble beach on the other side of the pond. My family is waiting there to watch the moonflowers bloom. But the shadows of the tall trees look so different at night. Every time I think I found the path, the silver light plays a trick on my eyes, and I get lost again." Big Bunny looked across the water. The pebble beach was quite far for a tiny turtle, especially when the shadows made the roots of the trees look like tangled giants. He knew that for a small friend, the world could feel very big and very confusing in the dark. "The moon is a wonderful guide," Big Bunny said kindly, "but sometimes we need to look at the world through the eyes of a friend to see the true path. Would you like to use my height to find your way? From up here, the forest floor is like a map written in silver and shadow." The turtle smiled, a slow and grateful expression. "I would like that very much, Big Bunny. But I am very slow, and I don't want to keep you from your walk." "Patience is a superpower, little one," Big Bunny replied with a nod. "And I have all the time in the world." Big Bunny gently scooped the turtle into his large, soft paw. He didn't lift it high into the air like he did with the Bluebird. Instead, he held his paw close to his chest, providing a warm and steady platform. He rose to his full height and looked out over the pond. "Look there," Big Bunny whispered, pointing with his other paw. "See how the moonlight hits the white stones near the weeping willow. That is your first landmark. And look further, where the fireflies are gathered near the reeds, that is the entrance to the pebble beach." The turtle looked out from Big Bunny's paw, its eyes widening. From this height, the confusion of the shadows disappeared. The path was clear, glowing under the lunar light like a ribbon of silver. "I see it," the turtle cheered quietly. "It looks so simple from up here." Big Bunny began to walk, his steps slow and deliberate. He didn't rush across the grass, he moved with the same steady rhythm the turtle was used to. As they walked, Big Bunny told stories of the constellations above, pointing out the Great Bear and the Starry Rabbit. The turtle listened, feeling the warmth of Big Bunny's fur and the safety of his steady grip. Finally, they reached the soft, clicking stones of the pebble beach. Big Bunny lowered his paw to the ground, and the turtle crawled out, reunited with its family just as the moonflowers began to open their glowing petals. "Thank you, Big Bunny," the turtle said, looking back at the gentle giant. "You didn't just show me the way, you made the night feel like a friend instead of a mystery." Big Bunny watched as the turtle family gathered around the blooming flowers. He felt a deep sense of peace, knowing that even in the dark, no one has to be lost if they have a friend to light the way. As the moonlight danced on his white fur, Big Bunny began his peaceful hop back toward his burrow, his heart full of the quiet magic of the night. Story 5: Big Bunny and the Great Forest Lullaby. The silver moon was high in the sky, and the whispering pine forest was bathed in a gentle, shimmering glow. The day of adventures had been long and beautiful, and now, a sleepy hush had fallen over the trees. Big Bunny felt a peaceful tiredness in his large, fluffy paws. He checked his knitted satchel one last time. It was empty of worries and full of happy memories, and began his final walk of the night. This wasn't a walk of discovery, but a walk of saying goodnight. Big Bunny hopped slowly, his movements as soft as a falling leaf. He visited the ancient oak tree first. He looked up and saw the tiny bluebird tucked safely under its mother's wing, dreaming of the bright blue sky. Next, he passed by the sparkling stream. The flowers along the bank had closed their petals, nodding their heads in the cool breeze as the water hummed a quiet, bubbling song. As he reached the edge of the hazelnut grove, he saw the gray squirrel curled into a tight, cozy ball inside his hollow, his bushy tail acting as a warm blanket. In the distance, near the crystal pond, the turtle family was nestled together on the soft sand, watching the last of the moonflowers glow. Every friend was safe. Every friend was home. Big Bunny felt a warm glow in his heart. He realized that the forest wasn't just a place of trees and stones, it was a home filled with family. He took a long, deep breath, inhale, exhale, and felt the calmness of the night flowing through him. He reached his own cozy burrow, tucked away beneath the roots of the oldest, wisest pine tree. The moss inside was soft and smelled of earth and sweet dreams. Big Bunny settled down, stretching out his long, white legs and tucking his chin into his fluffy chest. Before he closed his eyes, he listened. He heard the distant hoot of a sleepy owl, the soft rustle of the silver grass, and the gentle heartbeat of the forest itself. It was the great forest lullaby, a song of peace that lived in every shadow and every star. "Good night, whispering pine forest," Big Bunny whispered, his voice fading into a gentle sigh. "Good night, little friends. The sun will find us again tomorrow, but for now, it is time to dream." With a contented smile and ears that slowly relaxed against the soft moss, Big Bunny fell into a deep, wonderful sleep. The moon watched over him, and the stars twinkled like tiny nightlights, keeping the forest safe until the morning light returned.